CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Provincial government officials were in London today for pre-budget consultations, an opportunity for local leaders to make their pitch for provincial funding. With more on the meeting, here's Jerry Dewan.
The Ford government consistently pointed to London's hub approach in addressing the challenges of homelessness and addictions, patterning the concept across the province. Addressing the Standing Committee on Finance and Economic Affairs, Canadian Mental Health Association Thames Valley CEO Pam Tobin gave a sense of the demand for services.
Since we opened just recently, we've been at capacity and our wait list is full.
The London Heart Hub opened at the end of October inside the Salvation Army Centre of Hope. Tobin says the key now is to ensure funding is sustained in order to allow the Heart Hub to see success. The province is investing just over $6 million a year for 3 years for London's Heart Hub, but Tobin is looking to ensure ongoing funding for the hub and other programs designed to address social issues.
We need ongoing base funding. The need continues to grow. We need to be able to provide coordinated care.
Committee member Bobby Ann Brady, an independent MPP from Haldimand, Norfolk, has reservations.
We still see a patchwork of approaches that are not producing the outcomes that we would expect. So more and more money and no positive outcomes as we see numbers rise.
London North Centre NDP MPP Terence Kernahan says Tobin made a strong economic case for supporting the program.
Housing someone with full wraparound supports costs $4,000 per year, as opposed to $6,000 in shelter, $12,000 in jail, or $30,000, when someone is in hospital.
Not inside the meeting were representatives from the London Health Coalition. They say they couldn't get a space on the docket and instead held a brief demonstration outside the hotel, saying the government continues to favor funneling money to private health care rather than addressing hospital needs.
St. Joseph's Hospital in deficit. London Health Sciences legendarily in deficit. And there's no monies to even make them balanced.
These hearings started in December and will wrap up at the end of this month. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
City councillors are considering relaxing rules for London driveways. Right now, there are restrictions on their size and location. As Daryl Newcomb reports, those might soon be relaxed.
It can be a tight squeeze to fit all of the cars on the driveway of some London homes. And complaints from neighbors about excessive street parking and unauthorized driveway expansions are increasingly being made to City Hall.
Where you used to have a family with 2 cars, now you have a family with 3 or 4, and the house didn't have that sort of parking.
The deputy mayor suggests the existing rules that limit the size and location of driveways no longer reflect the needs of many modern households. Often in the name of affordability, what had been single-family homes now can include multiple generations under the same roof, and other homeowners are constructing additional residential units known as ARUs that they rent to tenants.
Whether it's ARUs or whether it's that multi-generational family living, one of the solutions that we can take as a city council is to look at relaxing our regulations around driveway widths and around the so-called front yard parking.
Currently, the city limits the width of a driveway to 50% of the total lot frontage, or 8 meters, 26.3 feet, whichever is less. In addition, City Hall does not permit parking on what it defines as the front yard of a home, with the exception of an up to 2-meter extension or walkway that runs parallel to the driveway.
We're talking about still having a limit on the maximum amount of your front yard you could have covered with parking. We're talking about width dimensions that have a maximum, and likely, I think we would settle on 2 cars wide. I don't think anybody's suggesting that a 3 or 4 car wide driveway is the solution to this.
Widening a driveway would still require a permit from City Hall, but Lewis emphasizes loosening the rules wouldn't really be breaking new ground.
This has worked in the past. It can work now. It's not at a significant expense to the city. It's changing a couple zoning bylaws and then letting people know here's how you apply for the permit.
The deputy mayor is developing a motion to amend the zoning bylaws for a future committee meeting. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
An update from London Health Sciences Centre leadership today, days after a code grey was put in place because of infrastructure issues.
This is not as a result of a single failure or a recent decision. It is a consequence of decades, and yes, decades, of deferred infrastructure investment here at LHSC. Millions of dollars that should have been reinvested into infrastructure were diverted elsewhere. And in many cases, that diversion served individuals' personal interests rather than the long-term safety and reliability of the hospital.
The provincially appointed supervisor blamed the Code Grey on years of systemic neglect. He says they're now focused on strengthening controls and rebuilding oversight. Members of the Catholic Diocese are asking City Hall to approve a rezoning application so they can establish a new cemetery on their grounds in South London. As Brian Bicknell reports, if it goes ahead, it would be the city's first new burial grounds in decades.
When it comes to burying those who have passed, London may be running short on space, according to this funeral director.
And if we didn't have the rate of rise in cremation, the cemeteries would probably be all full by now. But there's just the absolute population growth. There's lots of groups of people that will not or do not cremate for various reasons.
Joseph O'Neill says the city is long overdue for breaking ground on new burial grounds. But that may be about to change. The Catholic Diocese has applied to rezone this land at 5150 Wellington Road South, next to the Catholic School Board and Regina Mundi High School. Current zoning allows for a community facility. The diocese wants to turn the 15.6 hectare plot into a cemetery. The Islamic cemetery in South London opened in 2005, and aside from this one, the newest cemetery dates back to the 1930s, nearly 100 years ago. Others date back as far as the 1860s and 1870s. The chair of City Council's Planning Committee says when it comes to zoning applications, this is a first for him.
Where are you going to build a cemetery in London? Are you going to put it downtown? Or are you going to put it, in the midst of residential? We need that available land for building residential properties and high density. So, on the face of it, it seems like a pretty good spot for a cemetery.
But the municipality may be the least of the applicants' concerns. O'Neill says getting a cemetery built anywhere in Ontario involves jumping through bureaucratic hoops at every level.
NIMBYism is one big thing. And nowadays, too, you've got to go through all the environmental laws. You got to do this and that. And you're dealing with so many layers of bureaucracy. They're not just dealing with the city. They also have to deal with the Bereavement Authority of Ontario, and they have to meet standards. And then they also have to open up trust funds for perpetual care.
A public participation meeting on the rezoning application is set for January 27th at the next meeting of Council's Planning Committee. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
It was another snow day across much of Midwestern Ontario today, and as those missed days pile up, school officials are trying to keep students from falling behind. Blue Water District School Board officials say elementary students are given suggested tasks or studying ideas when buses are canceled, but high school students are expected to take their classes online.
In the past, it was always that no new concepts were being introduced in secondary on snow days, but we're moving away from that practice whereby now if there are multiple snow days in a row, teachers can actually introduce new concepts. So, really keeping in mind that continuity of learning and the importance of that, and also that students join their classes in real time and not just, kind of given some projects in the morning.
School board officials say there were 30 snow days in Grey Bruce last year, and they're about halfway to that total already for this school year. Today is Bell Let's Talk Day, a mental health initiative launched by CTV's parent company. With that in mind, local organizations are speaking out at a time of the year they say can be especially challenging. With more on the resources available, here's Rita Ismail.
This year's Bell Let's Talk Day theme focuses on simple actions like checking in with yourself, reaching out to others, or getting involved in your community. Small steps that can help reduce stress, improve mood, and build resilience. But for many, this time of year can feel especially heavy.
Our calls always tend to ebb and flow, but definitely in the winter months, sometimes it can get a little harder, the lack of sunshine. Sometimes people after their holidays holidays, feeling like they need extra support around different interpersonal relationships that they might have. And so we do tend to sometimes see a spike in January.
New polling from Mental Health Research Canada highlights just how widespread those feelings are. 36% of Canadians say the possibility of not being able to pay their bills is negatively impacting their mental health. 44% say the cost of living is taking a toll, and the same number report Canada-U.S. relations are also affecting their well-being. The Canadian Mental Health Association, Thames Valley, says help is available before stress turns into crisis, with clinics and counseling options across the region.
Talk and Counseling is a program that is offered by these counselors, and the goal of this program is to be a little bit more proactive in supporting when we're feeling like we're struggling with our anxiety, depression. Often we find that when life is just starting to get out of control for us, we're just starting to struggle, it can be helpful to come in and talk to someone about those things that are going on for us, and that often can prevent further crisis.
Bell says it's continuing its long-term commitment to mental health, announcing a $10 million investment this year, bringing its total Bell Let's Talk funding to $194 million since 2010. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
The London Knights wrapped up their road trip in Sault Ste. Marie tonight.
Here's a chance for the Greyhounds now as Chase Reed sends it in front of Lorna's McKenzie, and he scores.
It was a back-and-forth second period with the teams trading 5 goals. Ryan Brown scored both of London's goals, but that was all the offense they could muster. Final score, Greyhounds 5, Knights 2. Next up for London, the Sarnia Sting at home Friday night. A London filmmaker has produced a documentary about the former O-Pee-Chee factory here in London and the people who worked there. With more on the project, here's Brent Lale.
Our working title for this documentary film is Packaging Fun, so it's about London's O-Pee-Chee company.
Beginning in 1911, the East London factory packaged candy, chewing gum, and most notably, trading cards.
Felt like Evel Knievel putting the cards in your bike spokes and then chewing the gum and everything else. And when I came to London, I came here to do the Masters in Public History. I didn't know much else about London. The only thing I did know, really, was that O-Pee-Chee was based here.
30 years later, Michael Dove is in the process of finishing a film about the business, the employees, and the nostalgia of the famous company.
Doing oral history interviews with folks who worked there, who owned the factory, but also folks who just remember, passing by on their bikes on the way to school and smelling that sweet smell, of gum in the air.
The documentary started out as a passion project, but he quickly got his master's in public history students involved.
I was very honored to do it because I was a card collector growing up.
Nisa Long and her father collected cards, and during the filming and research, she got to open hockey card packs with Ben Kimmerly of London's Players Sports Cards.
I grew up going to Players, so it really was special to me to be able to see something that I collected, that I thought was collecting dust, be able to bring it out and showcase it to my class and tell the story of my dad and I collecting.
The elements have been gathered, and a trailer for the film is now complete.
We're solidly into post-production, and we're trying to get this documentary film ready to submit to a film festival for 2026. Hopefully it'll align with the city's bicentennial. Forest City Film Festival would be a great place, so we'll certainly look into that, and we're going to get it out regardless because we want to share these wonderful stories with Londoners and Canadians.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
When we come back, called out by name, the U.S. president taking issue with our prime minister at the World Economic Forum. Stock markets bounced back after the American president's speech at the World Economic Forum today. We'll have more on that in a moment. The TSX was up about 100 points in New York. The Dow added 589, the Nasdaq up 271. The Canadian dollar gained almost 1/10 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold is up almost $72 an ounce. Oil gained 26 cents a barrel. As mentioned, President Donald Trump delivered his own address today at the World Economic Forum, reaffirming his Greenland ambitions. With more on his message, here's Joy Malman.
The U.S. president arrived by helicopter, appearing before business and world leaders, stepping up his demand to own Greenland.
So we want a piece of ice for world protection, and they won't give it.
The president falsely claimed the U.S. owned the island for defending it from the Nazis during the war. It's Danish territory, but Trump wants it back, but backed off his threat to use U.S. force.
We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good.
That didn't stop Donald Trump's territorial ambitions, calling for immediate negotiations for the U.S. to acquire Greenland and threatening to tariff European nations that stand in his way.
We have no interest in picking a fight, but we will hold our ground.
But after discussions with NATO chief Mark Rutte, sometimes called the Trump whisperer,
I think President Trump is right. Other leaders in NATO are right. We need to defend the Arctic.
Suddenly, Trump announced on social media, we have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. The solution will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations. And taking his threat of tariffs off the table.
It's the ultimate long-term deal, and I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to security and minerals and everything else.
And NATO pledging to up its presence in and around the island on land, sea, and air.
The area around Greenland is not longer a low-tension area. We have seen that we should be more active, we should invest more, and we should do more together.
Donald Trump won't definitely say if owning Greenland is part of the deal, but it could include renegotiating the 1951 treaty that allows for U.S. bases on the Arctic island. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
And President Trump called out the Prime Minister by name in his speech. With more on those comments and the reaction in Ottawa, here's Mike Lecouture.
I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful.
The U.S. president with some tough talk for Prime Minister Mark Carney. It comes a day after the Canadian leader spoke in the same room at the World Economic Forum, criticizing superpowers that use tariffs as leverage.
But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Donald Trump didn't say which statements, but Carney's speech urged middle power countries to act together.
When we only negotiate bilaterally with a hegemon, we negotiate from weakness.
Trump also said Canada gets a lot of freebies from the U.S., but it's unclear what he was talking about. Some Democrats say the comments about our country are unfair.
Canadians have followed us into every major conflict we've been in, whether we were right or wrong. This president has so disrespected them that they're now talking to China.
Carney wrapped up his trade trip to China and Qatar with a stop in Davos, but he didn't have anything to say about Trump's speech. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office told CTV News there are no plans to comment on the president's speech. The two leaders also didn't have any interaction while in Davos, which could be a good thing, according to this former special advisor on Canada-U.S. relations to then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Canada will be well served to have a more dedicated, specific conversation with the president or his team in the coming weeks and months, especially on the topic of CUSMA as we head towards a review deadline.
And there's little time to waste, as that deadline to decide what happens next with the trilateral trade agreement is July 1st. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening. Rounds of snowfall continue in southern Ontario. We have more snow in the forecast and bitterly cold temperatures. Not expecting heavy accumulations for your Thursday, but we will start the day with some flurries. Thanks, Leanne Cross, for this photo of Kiva. Kiva, pretty cute there in the snow. As you head out in the morning, wind chills into the minus teens and gusty winds with blowing snow. I'll have all your local forecast details coming up. Stay with us.
Welcome back with Julie Atchison now, and you are in the middle of the trials and tribulations of life as a meteorologist, because just the bearer of bad news this week, and sometimes it just goes that way for you.
Just snow, blowing snow, colder temperatures.
And a lot of it, yeah.
I mean, it's just going to put this on repeat. Repeat this week. I wish I was repeating something else. -2 our high today, -13 our low. In terms of what's normal for this time of year, today was a typical January day. We did pick up another round of snowfall associated with a Clipper system. We had gusty winds and blowing snow. That continues out there tonight. It prompted weather watches and warnings. Another cold front coming through, and our winds will be shifting westerly as we head into the day tomorrow, which will lead to a lake effect snow off Huron in Midwestern Ontario and blowing snow. Overnight, we'll dip down between -6 and -8. Factor in the wind chill, and it'll feel close to a -16. We have an area of snow coming in tomorrow morning, so that'll lead to about 4 centimeters of snowfall, and you can see the lake-enhanced snow in Grey and Bruce County. And then we also have some snowfall coming off all of the Great Lakes. So the cold air will generate lake-enhanced snow in the extended forecast. In terms of additional snowfall amounts, so we picked up another couple centimeters through the late afternoon into the evening, and then on top of that, we're going to put another 4-5 centimeters. So the snowbanks are just going to get a little bit higher. As we head further north, lake effect snow will lead to upwards of 20 centimeters in through parts of Grey and Bruce County, and you saw that number there in Owen Sound. -7 as we head into your afternoon tomorrow, so the temperature dropping off tonight and then not moving a whole lot tomorrow afternoon. Winds gusting out of the west. Over the next 7 days, much of the same, although the coldest air of the season will be coming in. I even think that this may be even a bit mild in terms of the forecast model showing colder conditions, so we could see those numbers drop off in the coming days. But we have flurries and blowing snow, Carlyle, for tomorrow, the high coming in at -7, and then the chance for flurries on Friday at -12. -13 Saturday. A big area of high pressure over the Great Lakes will lead to lots of sunshine. It's got a lot of dry air. It's dry, cold air, but it means a beautiful day. Now, Sunday, this is going to be a tricky day, because there's a big weather system to the south. If that changes trajectory at all, our snowfall amounts will go from quite minimal to a lot very quickly. So at this point, there is the potential for 5 to 10 centimeters on Sunday. So if you are planning on doing some things over the weekend, Saturday will be the best day to do it. Cloudy on Monday, -8. Cold next week with overnight lows from -13 to -16. And that means wind chills into the -20 to -24 range. Midwestern Ontario, you still have snow and blowing snow out there tonight. You'll have some snow squalls developing heading into tomorrow. Additional accumulation coming your way. Looking like a series of these Arctic cold fronts coming through. Anytime one comes through, it kicks up the winds. Also, the lake effect snow develops in behind these fronts. So daytime highs cold at -6 to -12 over the next couple of days with snow squalls. Saturday, chance for flurries continuing. You'll have a lot of sunshine towards Huron, Perth as well. Grey Bruce, you'll have sunny breaks as well. There'll just be some flurries around. Snow expected on Sunday at -12 and then -9 on Monday with some nighttime flurries. Everyone's going to be talking about the deep freeze next week, that's for sure. Some cold air arrives over the weekend and waves of cold across southern Ontario through next week. Carlyle, back to you.
Thank you, Julie. A warning from provincial police: when blizzard conditions impact your drive, don't turn on your hazard lights. Some drivers do so thinking they're taking a precaution, but as Sanjay Maru reports, that could actually do more harm than good.
It did not take long for our cameras to catch a driver losing control during the snowy and slippery morning commute. And in weather like this, another common sight, drivers turning on their four-way flashers while still moving, hoping to warn others to be more cautious. When you're driving through really snowy weather, do you put your hazard lights on?
Absolutely, because other drivers need to be aware of where you are, and it's hard to see, right? So if we know where we are on the road, then other people know where you are.
I saw people using their four-ways on Highway 3. It looks like you're slowing down.
Does it confuse you when you see people do it?
Yes, very much so.
That confusion is exactly why Ontario Provincial Police say using your hazard lights while driving is not recommended.
The whole point of having hazards is if you are the hazard. The common misconception is you're just driving a little bit slower or whatnot. That can confuse people who actually believe you are stopped or something is ahead.
But that's not the only point of confusion. Let's start by putting on our hazard lights. Now let's say I want to turn right, so I'm going to put my signal on to indicate to other drivers that I want to do just that. Absolutely no visual difference whatsoever.
It's a main focus that we're all kind of slowed down. The four ways is for like something I'm doing so everyone else notices.
I just drive like normal and kind of just more cautious and slower, but I don't put the four-ways on. No, I've never done that.
So other than instances where your vehicle is stopped and blocking a live lane, when should you activate your hazard lights?
If there is some sort of obstruction in front of you and you're warning people and you're slowing down to stop. The other would be if you're pulling over because, you know, the police officer's behind you.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Finally tonight, a collection of hockey cards hitting the auction block a century after they were minted. As Colton Weens reports, a Windsor man saved them from the trash decades ago, and he's now ready to cash in.
Very rare. They've sort of stayed in one family for this whole 100 years.
Ben Pernfuss calls it a once-in-a-lifetime find. 51 hockey cards from the 1924-25 Champs Cigarettes hockey set, one of the most desirable Canadian tobacco issues in the hobby, are now up for auction at Miller & Miller.
The main card in this set is the Stanley Cup card, and this is the first time the Stanley Cup was ever featured on a card. 1924, so it's over 100 years old now, and it's considered sort of the rookie card of the Stanley Cup.
Produced by the Tobacco Products Corporation of Hamilton in 1924, Pernfuss says they almost never made it to the auction block. As the story goes, Donald Batter from Windsor found the cards in a tobacco box his father had in 1988.
He asked his dad whether he could have them, and his dad said, yes, but I was just about to throw them out. So these cards were destined to be thrown out in 1988.
He convinced his father to let him have them and kept them in a safety deposit box until they reached 100 years old.
Donald wanted the world to see these cards. He'd had them in his family for 100 years, and now is the time to let them go.
The cards are now up for auction through Miller & Miller, and current bids on the Stanley Cup and Clarence Hap Day cards have already reached $17,000 respectively. The auction closes on Sunday night at 6, and Pernfuss is already impressed with how high the current bids have gone.
I hope to find another one. I don't expect to. I think this might be one of those once-in-a-lifetime finds.
Colton Weens, CTV News, New Hamburg.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.